Former President Trump heads to New York today.
It should give Americans pause.
Before turning himself in. A large part of the country dealing with destructive weather.
We have activated the National Guard.
Using pedal power in the fight.
And always give them a chance in life.
To fund autism research. And the Marlins playing afternoon baseball.
Corrals it, flips, and
trying to even up their first series of the season. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
I'm Anna Key, and today is Monday, April 3rd, 2023.
Live from the FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
You're looking at pictures from earlier this morning of former President Trump's plane preparing to leave from Palm Beach International Airport. Trump arrives in New York City today ahead of his court date tomorrow.
The former president and his legal team were gearing up for a fight this week, scheduled to turn himself in tomorrow, where he will become the first former or current president to be charged with a felony. He is facing over 30 counts related to business fraud after an investigation was launched surrounding a hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels right before the 2016 election. Trump's defense attorney denies these claims.
This was a personal expenditure, not a campaign expenditure. The team will look at every potential issue that we will be able to challenge, and we will challenge it.
Trump's plane is currently on the tarmac at Palm Beach International Airport ahead of his New York departure.
At least 32 people are dead as brutal storms move across the U.S. In Arkansas, at least 5 people are dead after a twister hit over the weekend just across the state line. Tennessee reports at least 15 deaths, with one in Alabama and another one in Mississippi. At least 5 people are dead due to the severe weather in Indiana, with another fatality in Delaware. President Joe Biden, who used to represent Delaware in the Senate, is pledging help from the federal government. Forecasters are warning the severe weather isn't over yet as a snowstorm moves across the northern states.
Chinese apps have taken over the phones of Americans as Chinese tech companies are on the move to dominate American consumers. Reporter Sabrina Beggerstein is in Washington, D.C. with further details.
The congressional hearing that took place March 23rd with TikTok CEO Xiao Zichu is drawing attention to how Chinese apps have become so popular and what factors contribute to their success. In March, 4 of the 5 most downloaded apps were from China. TikTok, Temu, CapCut, and Shein have become influential in promoting trade, products, and ideals, but most Americans are unaware of their Chinese ownerships.
People downloaded these apps over the past few years. They downloaded them because they were really appealing. The fact that they're Chinese apps is something now that's only now coming to light.
Chinese tech companies spend lots of money on ads and consumer outreach. Professor Chapman explains why these apps are trying to win over American audiences.
By getting your app sort of in the pockets of American consumers, so to speak, you become potentially a more attractive app for these advertisers, because if they want to reach American audiences and they know American audiences have your app, then they're going to come to your app to do their marketing activities, which is definitely what we've seen. There are a lot of companies who are using TikTok for marketing.
According to eMarketer, TikTok generated over $11 billion from its advertising business in 2022. Famous brands like Chipotle, Rare Beauty, and Coach take advantage of the widely popular app to promote products. Professor Chapman mentioned that many American consumers who use Chinese apps are most likely going to continue their usage and interactions with these platforms. I'm Sabrina Beggerstein in Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network.
Is a nude statue inappropriate to show at schools? Is the question that has a Tallahassee school under fire. A teacher at Tallahassee Classical School showed a Michelangelo statue of David to a 6th grade class. Parents complained that the school did not notify them ahead of time. The school's principal got fired, and now the school will lose access to its teaching materials.
A prominent icon in the conservation community visited Florida International University last Friday to give a lecture with hope of inspiring others to do some good. The network's Julian Davis was there.
We currently live in a time where environmental crises and climate change affect us on a very costly and visible scale, which makes some people question, what can we do? Luckily, one scientist is seeking to inspire hope through action. Last week, Friday, Florida International University hosted a lecture with renowned conservationist and ethologist Dr. Jane Goodall at the Ocean Bank Convocation Center. During her lecture, Inspiring Hope Through Action, Dr. Goodall connected with the audience on a more intimate level, not typical of a regular lecture.
I was born loving animals. People say, what triggered it? I don't know. I just popped out of my mother's womb loving animals. And I was really lucky in having a wonderful and supportive mother.
Goodall also touched on the topics of climate change and biodiversity through some of her messages of hope. And even though she believes these are our greatest threats, she says there is still time to act if we act now.
As we destroy ecosystems, we're harming the future for our children. And an ecosystem is made up of this interconnected mix of animals and plants. And as we destroy that, the ecosystem can collapse.
For over 60 years, Goodall has been an icon in the conservation and scientific community. She made a name for herself conducting groundbreaking observations with wild chimpanzees, where her work made us better understand the animal kingdom and our connection with it. Goodall still continues her work today, traveling the world and sharing her reasons for hope and the importance of individuals taking action to secure a better tomorrow. Dr. Jane Goodall turns 89 today. Wishing Dr. Jane Goodall a happy birthday, reporting from West Miami-Dade for the South Florida Media Network, I'm Julian Davis.
Autism awareness, the inspiration for a bike ride hosted by Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. The network's Emily Cajias has the story.
This weekend, hundreds of first responders in Miami-Dade County are taking part in the 4th annual Autism Bike Ride to help raise awareness for individuals diagnosed with autism. Over 200 participants showed up bright and early at the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue headquarters, ready to ride for a cause.
This is our 4th annual Riding for a Cause for Autism Awareness. So it's bringing awareness to the community and working as one. We're all affected indirectly or directly, and to come together as a community and law enforcement and the fire department, it's just incredible.
Cyclists had the option of riding a 12-mile or 40-mile scenic route through Miami and Doral.
And all these bike riders, I would like to support them and thank them for joining in on this, and also for our Chief Jadala for the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Thank you so much for always supporting us in everything that we do.
After completing the bike ride, cyclists and spectators enjoyed food, music, and raffles.
I hope that people will understand that there's so much to learn from the autistic community. There's so much that they have to teach us, whether it's about even academic intelligence, whether it's street smart, whether it is about love, about admiration. There's so much to learn from them about living life in a genuine way.
Think positive and look for their positivity. Never give up on them and always give them a chance in life.
The proceeds for this charity event will be supporting firefighter families and other organizations to provide therapies and treatments for children diagnosed with autism. Reporting for South Florida Media Network, I'm Emily Cajias.
The Miami Lakes community celebrating cars and fighting cancer all at the same time. The network's Amanda Milian was at the Cars for a Cure event Saturday.
For the last 7 years, the Alonso family hosts Cars for a Cure, not only to honor the life of their patriarch, but also raise money for cancer research.
Roberto Alonso was an original Miami Lakes council member and the first vice mayor of the town. After he passed away in 2013 from a rare form of cancer, he left his 6 grandchildren his 1964 Cherry Red Chevelle. 3 years later, the family decided to combine his love for cars and his fight to survive and began the Miami Lakes Cars for a Cure event.
It's really an honor to be able to have this opportunity to bring so much to our community. I think it's important. Sometimes we forget about all the work that's being done to find a cure for cancer. And together as a community, we're joining in that fight and raising funds for the University of Miami Sylvester Cancer Center.
At this event, car lovers can join the show, parading their vintage and modern cars for the entire town to see down Main Street, the center of this community.
It's awesome. It's family oriented. It's been getting bigger every year. It's a great event. It's for a really good cause.
Families, friends, and the people of Miami Lakes come together to raise cancer awareness and enjoy a day full of cars, food, and more, all for a good cause.
If you are interested in donating to this cause, in which all proceeds go to the University of Miami Sylvester Cancer Center, you can at mlcarsforacure.com. This is Amanda Milian, South Florida Media Network.
The Marlins went toe-to-toe with the Mets in the last game of their series.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
There's a platform for poetry and people of Miami to express themselves in ways that are fun, unexpected, and extraordinary in a city where there's extraordinary people.
Miamians of all ages have a chance to express themselves through dozens of events hosted across Miami for National Poetry Month. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
April is National Poetry Month, and here in South Florida, that means the O, Miami Poetry Festival. The festival held its first big event over the weekend.
The network Julie Tesaris filed this report last night.
The Miami Beach Botanical Garden is putting on one of the many events being hosted by the O Miami Poetry Festival this month. Tonight, it's Poetry in Pajamas.
Kids of all ages recite their favorite poems surrounded by an audience in pajamas under a sparkling crescent moon in the enchanting Miami Beach Botanical Garden. Brothers Sam and Simon host an open mic for children of all ages.
So I'm the communications director at O Miami, and right now it's National Poetry Month, which means the O Miami Poetry Festival is back, and we're back for our 12th year. And what the festival means to me is that there's a platform for poetry and people of Miami to express themselves in ways that are fun, unexpected, and extraordinary in a city where there's extraordinary people.
As the month is just getting started, you're not going to want to miss these events. Miami is a poem that we write together, and we need your help.
What we do all year round is we teach poetry in schools. We have this festival that's happening now, and we publish books in unexpected places. And it's a way for Miamians to get their hearts and their souls and their poems out on billboards, on fences, places that people wouldn't expect poetry, in a place where we think is the most poetic city in the world.
The mission of the O Miami Poetry Festival is for everyone in Miami to encounter a poem throughout this month. During the month of April, there will be poetry events going on all throughout the city, and we can't wait to see you. I'm Julia Tesaris for the South Florida Media Network.
The Marlins are reeling today after fumbling their chance to catch the Mets in the last game of their series. The Marlins had a chance to catch the Mets in the series and were neck to neck throughout the first 4 innings, but lost control in the 5th when the Mets scored a double and sealed their win. The game ended 5-1. In their next game, the Marlins will host the Minnesota Twins tonight at 6:40 p.m.
That is all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Elena Key.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.